Gonna do a more in-depth chat, deeper dive into what Matt Martin said that canon didn't matter to casuals, which is, as you can already see by the comments on the video I did earlier today, that yeah, it does matter. How are people supposed to know what they're watching? It's just really fascinating, the logic or the lack thereof that these Lucasfilm story drones have when it comes to Star Wars. They don't care. Anyway, as you can see, he basically, on the thumbnail that I posted, he basically said it's all fake anyway. We know that. I mean, that's not the point, dipshit. Hey, Austrides, the point is that in order to tell a good story, you have to have continuity. Canon is continuity, not, you take a 5-bean dip, and whichever goes up first that's the start, and then nothing else makes any sense. Hey, MK47, I'm literally stunned. Please hit the like and subscribes if you haven't subscribed. Helps the algorithm, and share it out, please. But anyway, I was thinking about this, and again, it goes back to the lack of passion. Hey, Vader Fanatic, yeah, your comments are not registering on that video. I really think that YouTube, on behest of, I think, Lucasfilm, not Disney, has a thing out for channels like mine, because I've seen comments not go through several times in the past, and it's very interesting to me. But so if you can, just try to go back, and if it doesn't show up, keep trying until it does. Just copy and paste it. All right. You liked Black Widow? Okay, cool. I wish I cared. I'm not. I hate to say that. I'm not a Marvel fan. If they want to go woke, fine. Take the fucking story group too. Just get the fuck away from Star Wars. Okay, we'll start unwoking them later. We need to unwoke Star Wars. But anyway, back to what I wanted to say, what I'm talking about. It goes to the fact that these people don't care about their jobs, and they never have. But I think when he says canon doesn't matter, I think he sees the writing on the wall. I don't necessarily see a guy who sees his job going anywhere. Again, we haven't had any real news for over a week, at least from Doomcock, and nothing from the news organizations like Variety, Deadspin, and other sources like that. So we have to guess. And the only place that we got any smidgen of detail was my dog is chewing on my shoe while my foot is in it, by the way. And I'm going to get really mad at him in a second. Kojak, you have a toy down there. He's trying to untie the shoestrings because I'm wearing my hiking shoes. Cut it out. Oh, if you guys could see the look in this juvenile delinquent's face. Anyway, this is the life of having a shepherd, by the way. When they're not getting full on, in your face attention, they will make sure you pay attention by their bad behavior. He's being very bad right now, aren't you? Aren't you a little shit? Aren't you furry dickhead? But anyway, back to what I was saying. We know that Taika Waititi said that Lucasfilm is going under restructuring. We've got Leslie Forehead and fat ass Jenkins doing everything through interpretive dance to get their projects anointed. And Cameron basically said, any projects that a new leader has to go through and make it just can't. Now, Vader fan for life basically said something very, I think, intelligent on Instagram, that the Acolyte, Rogue Squadron, and Lando wouldn't be made. I agree with that. And if they do take Lando, it'll end up being Han Solo. And again, go back to what Chapek did. I think it wasn't at the investors call. It was the Merrill Lynch or whatever call that he was on, and he had a Freudian slip, said Han Solo instead of Boba Fett. It's very interesting to me. But now you've got Matt Martin saying canon doesn't matter. If you think that, then why are you even trying? And he said it didn't matter to casuals. I showed that quote to my husband, and he said he's a stupid idiot. My husband's not anywhere close to being involved in this. Are they taking away likes now? I thought I had 4 likes up there. Please hit the likes if you can. Because now I think someone's taking away likes. Anyway, it's very interesting to me how when you don't have as many, subscribers as some other channels, you notice that shit. Okay, you really do notice that shit. Anyway, but it's very interesting to me how all this is playing out. Now, it's basically been, the dearth of news is really bizarre. Okay, the dearth of news. Nothing except for Headland and, Jenkins doing what they're doing and freaking all the black pills out. And, other things like, they're talking about just, little things from like the Book of Boba Fett. But really, it's all meaningless. No real substantive news. So I do think there's something going on. I do think that Martin knows it. I do think part of the reason why he said what he said, even back in 2020, when he said that it was all fake anyways, that he knew that they were coming up with the multiverse. Because when he said that, a lot of shit was already going down. Kennedy and her, bullshit with this hiring Leslie Headland really pissed off the Bobs. And the bees were not happy. Just a minute. What are you doing? You can lie down here on the floor, okay? All right. You guys want to see him? Hey, Sakori. So anyway, that's when I think they just basically, said John has got a good idea, and we're gonna go with this multiverse, and it's not really gonna be a multiverse like Marvel is. It's gonna be a different timeline, okay? And one is going to be more considered more canon than the other. And, they know that, damn it. And they know that, okay, just a second. The Lucasfilm drones know that, okay, they know it. And the thing about it is they don't know what else to do. They really don't know what to do. And we're going to get what we want because they're not making any money. Again, this all goes down to looking at what's going out, what they're spending output, and what's coming back in, and it's nothing. I don't walk into Ollie's and get bombarded with Star Wars comics. Not that comics are selling very well, but I would think there'd be a real niche for good storytelling through the comics, and there is if they did a good job. But when I looked at those comics, there's a reason why they had all that shit left over that they couldn't sell. You know, no one wanted it. Why didn't anybody want it? Because it's trash. Okay, it's trash. And of course, the novels written by Jason Fry, who is a fucking little pussy scumbag. Okay. Yeah, what I found were models and no toys. I almost bought the Rogue One transport that ship that Andor had. That's kind of a cool thing. So that's what I found, but I didn't see any toys at all. But the comics were there, and those two novels. I would like to know how much money Disney, at the behest of Jennifer Heddle and the Story Group, put out there to hire these artists. How much Marvel, you know, because look, the novelists are chosen not the way they used to be. Are they good? Is there merit? No, there isn't. Here's the deal. They're chosen because of their wokeness. Okay. When Jason Fry wrote the TLJ novel, he wasn't chosen because he was the best writer. He was chosen because he kissed ass and did what Ryan Johnson wanted him to. And he was Mr. Woke. I mean, when you look, here's the deal. I'll give you an example. Yeah, they did. I mean, they took a big loss. So if you're, Bob Chapek, and you're looking at Disney Publishing, and you're looking at Jennifer Heddle, and you're looking at the Story Group, it's like, I can't afford this anymore. You guys are bad. I don't, they don't want this. The people who buy this stuff don't want this. Do not sit there and look at me like it's my fault either, okay? When I fire your ass for incompetence, for not doing your jobs, for not producing. Now, if you're Pablo Hidalgo, if you're Matt Martin, oh, look, he's sitting here like a good boy. All right, that's good. I had to get up. And if you see me doing this, I'm just staring at my dog. He is right now laying on the floor, staring at me with his ears up. We have a FedEx truck sitting at the end of the cul-de-sac, and it looks like the thing must have broke down, and it's been sitting there. And every time Kojak goes out there, he sits down with his ears up and just stares at it. That's his I'm alerting, and he just looks at it until I give him a nudge and say, "Go do your business," or go down the stairs because I'm coming with you. But anyway, it would be really nice to know how much money Disney lost, because I guarantee you, you hired the writers, you hired the artists for the comic books. There had to be, hey man, Piranha, that had to be a few $1,000,000, like a lot, right there. The novelist, you hire the novelist, you get the book printed, you put it out for distribution. That had to be lots and lots of money too. And there they are, sitting at Ollie's, saying, "Pick me, pick me." All right, not a good look. Not a good look. Anyway, so it stands to reason why Matt Martin might be saying canon doesn't matter. Because what he thought was canon is not canon anymore. Okay, again, Doomcock hasn't said a word about any of this. Yeah, well, I don't think what they have to do is they have to find personnel is policy. And if you don't have the right people in that particular job, Kojak, what are you doing? All right, I'm gonna have to put him in his thing because he just did something really bad. Well, in my opinion, it's really bad. No, those are Daddy's glasses. Get up, get up. Come on, house. Come on, house. Come on, go to your house. You were bad. I know I wasn't paying any attention to you. I'm a bad mom. We gotta kiss his ass. He's as bad as a 4-year-old. No, he'll just walk up to the table and grab whatever he wants and march away with it. Anyway, so if you hear him crying behind me, it's because I got real mad with. Yeah, well, you're right. Their consumer products division has, and the excuse that Pablo used once with the declining merchandise sales was, kids don't buy that stuff anymore. Well, gee, Marvel sure was selling. I would think Star Wars could kick Marvel's ass too, and should have. Oh wait, if Star Wars was as great as it could be, it would. Just me. Say this is good stuff, but uh, little tough on the calories though. But anyway, you know, it's about making money. If you walk in alleys and you look around at the merchandise, that is stuff that companies like Target, Walmart, Hasbro, etc., couldn't sell. So they do a big buyout, and there it is. Okay. Well, I think you're right, Matt Piranha. If they do it right, they're going to get the money, the money back. Oh, there's nothing at Target. Nothing. Zero. I went in there yesterday and was heartbroken. You can find figures at GameStop. I almost bought Luke Skywalker Hoth and the Hoth Soldier, but it's at a GameStop over 70 miles away, and I haven't been to the ones around here, so I don't. Nah, you know, I'll uh, I'll think about that. I'll put them on the. I might order. I'm gonna order them for sure, but you know, we'll see. And I'm pretty sure I could probably get those if I wanted. And the guy's like, "Well, I can pre-order you or a Sing," and I'm like, "We just came up from Carlisle," and he started laughing. He goes, "Did you go to Cabela's?" I was like, "Yeah." Guy started laughing. Pretty interesting discussion when you walk into a GameStop and the guy who's about your age who runs it hates the sequel trilogy and everything Disney did but The Mandalorian and Rogue One as much as you do. It's telling. And the guy with him that's younger hates it just as much. All right. They see the declining merchandise sales too. You know, it's really sad that this is going on. But when you've got someone that says canon doesn't matter to casuals, it doesn't matter to him, it doesn't matter to anybody on the story group, and they made their bed. They made their bed. Whether they want to agree with it or not, they made their bed. And that's what we got is this dumpster fire. And things have to change. And I'm looking at all this and they're restructuring. It's like, I don't know if they necessarily have to restructure. Maybe it's for the streaming service as much as they have to fire and get rid of certain individuals, like a lot of them, like even people from the animation department. Like, I'm sorry, the guy that was the lead animator for The Mandalorian, Hal Hickel, is a piece of shit. And I would, you know, I would have a meeting with Dave Filoni and I'd say, look, I want to promote blah, 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 and get rid of Hickel. Why? Show them the tweets. We can't be doing this in public anymore. It's not that I disagree with somebody's right to free speech. Say whatever you want. But as the president of Lucasfilm, I have to protect the brand. And trashing over half the country is making the brand look bad, okay? This is why, personnel is policy. This is why you have to tell these people, the newbies coming in and the people still there, no more of this, no more of this. We are a for-profit company. This is what we're doing, okay? Then you get a hold of the novelists that were screwed and say, look, we're taking what you wrote. It's not legends anymore. It's going to be canon now. There's that word. And we want to use these novels and put the novels up there. And we're going to adapt them for the streaming service, either live action or animated. Okay? But we need good stories, and there are places where we want to go that you guys didn't venture to yet. We're going, and I would tell AC Crispin's people, we're going to use the Solo trilogy, but we're going to change some things, okay? Yeah, and they're gonna have to pay the writers those royalties, and they're just gonna have to, admit they fucked up. I mean, when I look at the people they chose to write their new canon, Chuck Wendig. Chuck Wendig would be the perfect guy to run a gulag, or, lead a party for the 1,000-Year Reich or something. I mean, he is a fucking fanatic. And he got fired because of it. He's a sick, sick person. Then we got the sexually obsessed, ugly, fat cow, Claudia Gray, aka Amy Vincent, who can't be bothered to actually think about what she's doing. She doesn't know anything about canon. No respect for the characters, the legacy characters. No respect for normal relationships. I mean, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around how the hell does she have a boyfriend? Because I was pretty sure she was a lesbian. Okay? I mean, she looks like one. She's not physically attractive. And a lot of those women make sure they're overweight and disgusting so men won't want them. Okay? I'm just saying, that's what I've seen. Okay? That's what I've observed. Or so skinny and gross men won't want them. I mean, there's, would I? Yeah, if I could trust a screenwriter, like, let's say Cameron got a phone call from Jon Favreau and they start talking about it, and I'd let Cameron write the script because he would I would trust him to do it. He would do an excellent job. I would put the thing on there before I did anything. I have right of first refusal if I see any woke shit coming on there. All right, this is not woke. This is a Western. Okay, this is gritty, dark stuff. Okay, we're at the edge of the galactic frontier, for crying out loud. There's no room for, where does Squishy put his dick? Okay, who the fuck cares? All right. Yeah, basically. But if they did want something like that, sure. But I would have to insist, it can't, if you politicize this, or gender swap people, or race swap people, or make a statement about sexuality that doesn't belong, or sex, have someone who's straight identify as whatever, like they did kind of with Leia. I would go on Midnight's Edge and rip them a new asshole, and I wouldn't care. if I was in violation of an NDA. They can't do that anymore. If it's my intellectual property, I get a chance. I get a right to say this is good, this is bad, and there has to be some way that they would have to understand that the fans don't want it. The writer wrote it this way for a reason. This is why when people are, one of my favorite things is someone who actually studied. Now, Dave, how much did that book cost you? Because I want one, but when I saw the price, I was like, I got other things I need to buy, and my horse needs her manicure and pedicure. But 180, okay. I got to think about that. Here's the deal. Tomorrow after Kay's farrier visit, all right, I'll tell you what a farrier is. You know what a blacksmith is? They were the guys back a long time ago that would put shoes on horses. Well, the actual term is farrier. Kay is barefoot, but she needs her feet trimmed. So every 8 weeks, Mike shows up and I bring her out and she's there and we go over her and he trims her feet and because she's got bad front feet. I mean, her front feet are awful. But the hoof walls are so thin they can't hold a shoe. If you nail a shoe on, she'll kick it off. It'll come off. So he's got to, we got to keep them tight. And, she's old. I don't ride her anymore. Well, she's not that old. I mean, I suppose, but she basically doesn't want to be ridden anymore. So we're in that area where it's like, well, fuck, But anyway, so he's coming tomorrow. It costs me $45. And he gets about 60 when he's done, just because he's a good farrier. He's a nice guy, and we talk guns and stuff like that when we're in politics and stuff like that when he's working on the old bat. Anyway, so back to Star Wars. You don't, if you wrote something, like, here's the deal. If I took Claudia Gray's book, Into the Darkness, and made Leox Gayasi, I gave him a different name, I made him an alpha, straight, white, normal male, she would fucking shit her pants. Okay? If I race swapped the lead character in Justine Ireland's books for a white, red-haired, blue-eyed girl, she would shit her pants. Okay? That's what they're doing. That's what they do in other franchises. All right? They race swap. They didn't gender swap Lando, but they swapped his sexuality. And Solo and John Kasdan's like, why would you even answer that fucking question? These are the questions that need to be answered. Why? I really, it's one of those things where it's like, is there any common sense? But then you think he grew up in Hollywood. He was absolutely never raised with any moral integrity, which is a lot for his mother and father. He wants to fit with the weird crowd because that's who runs Hollywood. What else? What's he gonna say that's any different? Think about it. So you got that going. But if I was George Lucas, I'd have been on the phone. All right, Dave, talk to you later. Let me know how that book looks, okay? Maybe I'll find a used copy of it, but I doubt it because that book is like that thick. And if you get a copy of that it's not going anywhere. Maybe if they went and did a paperback, I would spend $60 or $70 on a paperback of it. Just saying. Anyway, I'm sure George Lucas, when he heard that, was pissed. And look, John Kasdan isn't really that much younger than I am. He knew what Lando was supposed to be. He is pandering to the little French idiot who asked him the question, and really probably thought, what a great idea. Lando sticks his dick into the power hole of a droid. What? What? You know, it's gross. It doesn't belong in Star Wars. It is wrong. And it didn't occur to him to say no. Billy D. Williams played him this way. Lando is a normal, straight, heterosexual male. He's an alpha male. That is the way he was portrayed. That is the way he is portrayed. Okay? You know, if you want pansexuals in space, maybe you should write your own space opera. You know, and that's the ultimate thing, is these guys. But I'm going to tell you something, again. While we were all, you know, I was recovering from being sick. Other people were getting their MBAs and the rest of this stuff, going into normal jobs, going into business, you know, military, law enforcement. You know, of course he is. Of course, Matt Parada. A bunch of people with nefarious ideas and nefarious goals jumped into Hollywood and jumped into Lucasfilm and thought they could literally rewrite everything and erase the past. A lot of people don't understand what these people want to do is erase what George Lucas wrote, completely redo it. J.J. Abrams does. The whole idea that he's worried about people being represented is bull fucking shit. If you believe J.J. Abrams gives a flying fuck about representation in Star Wars, you can go sit over there in the corner and think about what you did, okay? Because he doesn't. And honest to God, neither does Rian Johnson. All right. Oh, gross, Ezio, my God, ick. You know, and Rian Johnson did it. First off, yes, of course, he will. But he did it because he wanted to erase what George did. Okay, ultimately, that's what he wanted to do. And a lot of people sit there and blame Disney. Disney, I mean, when you look at this Alan Horn fiasco, Disney basically said, you know, from Alan Horn, I want a cast that looks like the same cast in the OT. You know, and he was very cautious about what Kathy wanted to do. I mean, when I look at those fucking movies, she got everything she wanted. And yet, they were failures. So what did she do? Blame Alan Horn for not getting anything he wanted as she's leaving. Yeah, it is. I mean, Lando Calrissian is that guy. All right. He's that smooth operator. Okay. He's the guy that walks into a bar and by the end of the night, he's got 4 or 5 women draped over him. Okay. You know, he's that guy. You know, he's not whatever Donald Glover played. And I hate Donald Glover. I thought he did a really shitty job. But, oh, come on. Okay. You know, you show Lando with some chick, all right? You know, I would love it if she was a redhead or a blonde. Because that would absolutely send the fucking SJWs through the roof. I mean, it really, really would. Why can't she be black? You got a problem with mixed race relationships? To me, that's just a relationship. I mean, you're the one who's noticing. Well, that and Leia knew what he was, and Leia didn't want any part of it. And you could see that. She didn't trust him. She's like me. I'd be like, what is your agenda here, my friend? Yeah, and that's what he should have been. That's how he was when Han met him. I mean, if you go back to see what A.C. Crispin wrote, Han got captured by Boba Fett. And Boba Fett hit him up with this obedience drug and is dragging him back to the Slave One. And all of a sudden, Boba Fett's got somebody coming up behind him with a blaster, sticking it underneath his helmet saying, let him go. And pretty soon, Boba Fett's strung out on that obedience drug, put into the Slave One, and it's set, once it's out of the system, out of the gravity well, set to go light speed to, like, I don't know, somewhere far away. And that's how they met. Lando had been watching Han do something. I think he was playing Sabacc, or he was somewhere. And Lando wanted to talk to him, but he didn't want to talk to him inside the bar. And when Han walked out, Boba Fett jumped Han. No Chewbacca around. And after the whole Boba Fett deal went down, Lando said, hey, I need someone to teach me how to fly a ship. And Han's like, okay. They talk a little bit more. Han obviously knows he owes this guy a lot. So he goes with them at that moment, I think, to go see the ship. The ship is the Millennium Falcon. And Han was like, absolutely in love with it. And it didn't look that pristine, beautiful thing with the blue markings and all the rest of that garbage, that shit that you saw in Solo. It was an old, yep, that's exactly right, man, Piranha. It was an old YT model 1300 freighter. And it got the job done. And it was a nice ship. Didn't look like much from the outside, and it got beaten up after the adventures Han took her on. But there's something about her that Han absolutely fell in love with. In fact, there's a point where A.C. Crispin's got him wondering if he should just steal the ship from Lando. Because Lando, there's no way he was going to sell it. I mean, Han walks in and sees illegal hyperdrive engines and is like salivating. So he teaches Lando how to pilot the ship, how to pilot the Falcon. Okay, hail to Manjanai, and that's how that went. And it's very interesting how that relationship goes on, because by the time of the end of Rebel Dawn, after Han got screwed over by the Alliance, so by all the smugglers, but Han mostly because he was the one that convinced everybody to join the fight to get all that stuff from that weird Elysian priest whatever thing on Elysia. And the Alliance, instead of divvying it up 50-50, took everything, because they were getting ready to attack the Death Star. All right, the Death Star had been something that they now knew about, and they needed the money from the artifacts that were collected to pay for ammunition, men, material, medical supplies, food, you name it. If you're running a military, you need all that stuff. Logistics. And so they took everything. And Han's ex-girlfriend, Bria, was begging him to go with her. And he was like, if I see you again, I'll shoot you. All sunshine and rainbows and unicorn farts, right? That's a pretty dark thing to say to someone you were into 2 days ago, all right? And Lando got screwed over because he was there. And it's really funny when you read those books. Oh yeah, he did. When you read those books, Lando wasn't exactly a soldier. Like getting out in the boonies, marching around and getting into military fisticuffs and dust-ups and battles and shit. So he was not happy even doing it, but the idea of a big payday was pretty impressive. So Han gets in trouble with Jabba, goes to Lando to see if he can borrow some money so he can pay off Jabba. And Lando opens the door and just flattens him, just throws a hard right and sends him flying. I mean, he is pissed. That was the problem that was going on between them. You know, and it really sets a precedence that Han gets blamed, not really his fault, he got screwed too, for what happened at that Elysian deal. You know, it was just, and then Boba Fett showed up, which was crazy. Hey, Troy, but that's the way you tell stories, and everything has to be consistent. So when someone says canon doesn't matter to casuals, you're a casual fan, and you know enough about Star Wars to know Lando Calrissian is a horse's ass and a ladies' man. You walk in, you sit down with your popcorn and your soda, and watch him sobbing, deeply affected, and freaking out like a guy who lost his wife over the loss of his fucking droid. And then your friend, who's a real hardcore fan, said, well, the writer of the script did say that Lando is pansexual. And then you're going, that's not consistent. That's not canon. Ta-da! But you got Matt Martin saying canon doesn't matter to casuals. Bull fucking shit. Okay, a lot of casuals have seen episodes 1 through 6 and liked them. Didn't get into the lore like we did, but they liked them. Okay, so when you completely de-evolve all the characters that they recognize, Han's a drunk deadbeat dad, Luke's a pussy, Leia's a bitch, a horrible, frightening, nasty Hillary Clinton, icky type bitch, and you're walking away going, what? And they wonder why people didn't go back and see those movies over and over again, except for The Force Awakens, and that was nostalgia factor, and because people love Harrison Ford in that character. I'm sorry, that's why people went to The Force Awakens, okay? Because sure as hell didn't get a lot of Luke. And when you did get a lot of Luke, it was so badly done, it made half the money TFA made. All right. Then The Rise of Skywalker barely. I'll address that. Don't even have any. It's barely even cross a line into the $1 billion territory, and despite what Matt Martin and what the rest of these fucking idiots think, a movie making $1 billion is goddamn meaningless now. Because when you start looking at how much they made, how much it cost to make them, and the reshoots, and you add that cost, it is a lot different. And as far as deeply in love and sexual, when you're talking like that, bullshit, okay? That was a sexual thing. John Kasdan said it was. He wrote it. And Donald Glover played it that way, okay? Donald Glover is a freak anyway, because so of course he would. I mean, that guy's batshit crazy, okay? I mean, so yeah, Lando freaking out to the point of acting like his wife just died. That's pretty fucking sick, okay? That's pretty fucking sick. I mean, if my computer decided to freak out on me and die, do you want to know what would piss me off? This computer costs a hell of a lot of money. It's an Apple. All right. It's a MacBook Pro. And you imagine how much they cost. So, I don't think I would like, why, that's a weird question, but I can't imagine him playing Batman. I don't imagine him in any sort of DC or Marvel movie. It's very interesting to me. He's been offered other parts too. Like, I'll give you one. Harry was offered, he was the first actor to be offered the role of Oscar Schindler in Schindler's List. Okay. Now, I'm going to say this. He's a great actor. He should have been nominated for an Academy Award several times. Regarding Henry, Frantic, Witness, of course, he got the nomination, and he should have won. And there were other ones too. The Fugitive, and it's like there are roles that just by looking at it, he shouldn't, that you're glad that he didn't take it. And I'm glad he didn't take the role of Oscar Schindler. That's a role for a guy that approaches life with the eyes of someone who's not an American. We all know how bad the movie about Attila the Hun was, with John Wayne, and how miscast he was. Okay, there you go. Think about it. All right. Liam Neeson was the right choice. He did a very good job. He was really, really great. I think the guy's an idiot, myself, personally. Any guy who would happily make Kinsey and then kiss another guy like that, naked. No, gross. And, he's said some stuff about Americans and guns and stuff and politics that it's like, look, you're Irish. Mind your own goddamn business. You guys have a lot of problems yourselves. Go fix it. Okay? And he grew up Catholic, but he attacks Christianity. He did the voice of Aslan in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And then, in order to appease Muslims, he basically said, that he felt like he was like speaking for Muhammad. And it's like, C.S. Lewis was a Christian apologist. Okay? Now, I know you're an anti-Christian bigot. I got it. But to sit there and misinterpret, deliberately, I might add, because you want to kiss a minority's ass, especially after 9/11, I'm sorry, fuck off. Okay? That pisses me off. Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is basically the story of Christ's sacrifice. Don't see that anywhere else, do you, in any other religion of the big three? No. I see King David getting into a lot of trouble. I see Moses being weak at times. I see people getting murdered and slaughtered because they wouldn't, convert. All right. I'm sorry. So that really pissed me off. But then you think, who was he married to? He was married to a Redgrave. And that's a batshit crazy family. That the dad, I think the father was extremely bisexual. Vanessa Redgrave is an anti-Semitic cunt, and a hardcore leftist nutbag. So of course he's going to chirp the same shit that they do, and they did. I mean, I've heard stories about, what was it, Redgrave? Oh God, I've heard stories about the dad that were mind-blowing, and I believe them. You start getting into people who are obsessed with sexuality. The Brits are on that list, and I love them, but it's like you need to just slow your roll. Okay, it's not Victorian times anytime, so you don't have to hide it. Okay, but oh my God. But I've heard stories about David Bowie and Mick Jagger, get your vomit buckets out. And I love David Bowie, and I hate Mick Jagger. But yeah, that was a weird tangent to go on, but it's really interesting to me that when you think about actors and you think about roles they didn't take, and you realize that was probably a wise thing to do, and him not taking the role of Oscar Schindler was a good idea. Now, was he offered the role of John Miller in Saving Private Ryan? If he wasn't, didn't take it, I'm pissed at him because I think he would have done a better job than Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is a good actor, but when I watch that movie, he doesn't give the right performance for a guy who was born in 1921 or 22 or 1917. And Harrison Ford, or that movie was made in, is that 1998? It came out 99, 98. Harrison Ford was in his mid-50s. He looked far younger than he was. All right, he could have easily played that role. I would have liked to have seen that. I would like to have seen him in a role like that, in a role, in a real Western like Open Range or Tombstone or, 310 to Yuma or something like that. Just because that's where a guy like that can really let loose. That very stoic, laconic figure, okay? And we never got to see that. We never got to see that. And it was just, But anyway, back to canon. When I think about what Matt Martin said, and I think about all the stuff that we've heard and seen and talk about, it really, it's offensive. It's offensive. It's offensive to me for several reasons, and one of them is when you're talking about how fans are going to react to things, and you assume they don't care. That's bullshit, okay? Or you don't care that they care. That's bullshit too. And it also doesn't take into account that people aren't stupid. All right. The story group assumes that all of us that are Star Wars fans are stupid, and they will treat you like that. And we've seen that. It's nothing new. They will assume that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They will assume that there's not very many of you. But then they get shown the truth. Here's how much these books sold. Here's how much we spent on publishing them. Do you see the problem here? Okay. You didn't produce what you were supposed to. And, I'm sorry, but, we can't, I'd be like, if I was Disney, as a company and as a for-profit corporation, we can't do this anymore. And we don't trust you to make the right choices because you didn't before. There you go. So anyway, it wants to rain. I don't know why. I actually think it is raining. Let me look. Yeah, it's raining. Okay, well, whatever. I kind of thought it would. My husband didn't think it would, and I'm like, it's gonna rain. I told you it's gonna rain. He's getting his hair cut right now. So anyway, so here we are, and no news, nothing solid. I'm bored, you're bored, we're all bored, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And I really think they're trying to get all this finished and try to do everything under the radar, and they can't. Really, they're going to have to announce something one of these days. I don't know when. I would like it just to hear a legitimate source beyond Taika Waititi talk about restructuring. All right. you know, Leslie Headland, I think she raised her head again the other day, but I, I don't see them making that show, because all the shows look like that they're making look like, besides Andor, and I'm gonna be very honest, if Doomcock was right and the guys were right about Lucas being involved with that, that's gonna end up being a Favreau thing. All right, that's gonna end up being part of all of his stuff. So anyway, I gotta go. I've been on for almost an hour, and not very many people showed up in the chat. Well, it's a Friday night, and they'll be able to get it in replays. So I'll see you guys later, and I'll see you around the galaxy. Peace out.